Before getting into today's episode, we'd like to thank Mac Performance PT for sponsoring the Walk On Pod. For more on their services and contact information, click the link in our Instagram bio where you will be led to their website. Mac Performance PT, helping Sacramento athletes live life without limits. Thank you for tuning back into the Walk On Pod. This is, of course, your favorite walk-ons, Luka Vdalovic, Tommy Ball, and Jared Waters. And today we are extremely, extremely excited to be joined by a fellow podcaster. Our boy Nanik Tagore of the True to Life podcast is here today. It's been a struggle to lock this one in, but we got it. We all have pretty busy schedules. We appreciate you being here, man.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super excited. I'm glad it all lined up.
Let's go, man. I'm fired up. It's good to have another podcast. I think this was our first guest that also has podcasts.
I was going to say the same thing. I think it is.
Yeah.
Did Danny say he was going to start a pod? I couldn't remember, but we'll give...
Danny's got other things.
He's got stuff going on. That's fine. That's fine. But we're gonna give the True to Life podcast the nod here. So not, like I said before, we're gonna give you the floor. You can kind of tell your story. You can go whatever direction you want, and then we'll go from there.
All right, no, for sure. I mean, I started playing basketball young. You guys are all hoopers, so you guys know how it goes. I mean, it starts at the rec center, and then progressing into more, competitive AAU. Started getting into high school. Starting to tap into more of like a leadership role. A team captain. Had great opportunity where I was at a smaller school to really like dive into my leadership and really develop myself as a person, like on and off the floor. So I really had an opportunity to be like the guy on my high school team, which really helped like shape who I was. And then, I was really focused on the academic side of things in the classroom. So that honestly really helped get me, to the collegiate level. So, I mean, anyone listening, that was a major part of even why I'm playing collegiately right now was the academics. Originally I got an opportunity to play at Holy Names University, which is in Oakland, California. Originally going to there on an academic visit. I was just going there to check out the school for academics, and ran into the coach. Started talking to him, and then they started recruiting me a little bit after that. I guess like we clicked. His name was Daniel Eberhard. He's actually currently coaching at Pepperdine as an assistant coach on the men's side. Eb definitely forever super grateful for him for giving me an opportunity to, join the collegiate level. So super grateful for
Big
that.
Shout out Eb, man. I hope Eb is listening to this.
Yeah,
big shout out to
Eb.
Bro. Yeah. Absolutely.
He's a NorCal staple.
Eb is a NorCal legend.
No, absolutely. So I definitely wouldn't be here without him for sure for giving me that initial opportunity. Unfortunately, Holy Name shut down. I was only there for a year. I redshirted my first year. Then I had the opportunity to come over across the bridge over to in San Rafael to Dominican. Went there for a workout. Met Justin and Coach Okada, and I think they all saw things that I could bring to the team through my leadership and my shooting ability and things like that, to where I could plug into the squad there and be a valuable piece. And they extended the opportunity, and I took it because with the transfer portal, which you can probably get into, is definitely crazy for college athletics. So you get an opportunity to continue the journey. I had to take it and staying semi close to home because I'm from Sacramento. It was really a great opportunity. So now I'm currently at Dominican, stayed at the D2 level in the Pac West Conference. So really excited for what the future holds. Got a great coaching staff here and a great group of guys. Also shout out Connor CT. He's the one that connected me with you guys. He's on my team here at Dominican. I'm just super excited. I got a bright future here. I got 4 years eligibility left, so I got a lot of time on the college game. So I'm really excited for what's to come.
It's exciting stuff, man. Big shout out to CT. Thugging it out with me in the freshman dorms, man. Look at CT. Look at CT networking for us too, man. You gotta love it.
Putting in work.
Gotta love it. Always.
It's funny because we get, and I'll say transparency, like all of us weren't 100% clear of your story and everything. And like, we're all basically meeting each other for the first time right now. And like, we always joke about here on the Walk On Pod that the guest is always pretty humble about their journey and everything. And you kind of grazed over some adversities that I think a lot of people, would have some bigger setbacks than your 2 sentences worth of description that they were. So even though you're a fellow podcaster, I guess the syndrome doesn't dodge you. You know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to dive straight into that. You talk about you were out of school, you felt like you were comfortable with a coach in a program, and you felt like it was going to be somewhere where you could see yourself being successful, and it gets shut down. Like that can be a demoralizing sequence of events for a lot of people, especially as a freshman, as a redshirt. Like there's so many unknowns with that. What was kind of your mindset attacking the next step?
Well, I mean that's a phenomenal question. I definitely looking back, it definitely glazed over because there's a lot that happened in between that moment of hearing the school shutting down. Um, all that work you put in, thinking that you're gonna be somewhere for 4 years with a coach that recruited you, that wanted you in the program and really saw something from the jump. It's never gonna be the same because I mean, redshirting, there was just a lot that went into that year. Ultimately just focused on trying to get my body right and get my mindset right and protect my eligibility was the thought process. But it was tough. I mean, it was definitely tough not being able to play. Even like to this day, other than scrimmages, because we've had like 3 scrimmages this year. Like I still haven't played like a real game since like my senior year of high school. Like so that's pretty crazy. And that's like a big part of where you get your confidence from, like those game reps, like seeing all that work you put in get recognized like in real time. So to not have that definitely takes the toll on the confidence in the mental game. Um, yeah, so I mean, hearing that the school was shutting down, I mean, I kind of just was in shock for a while, for like a couple of weeks, months. Like I was just, wow, is this really happening? But life moves on. We still had to finish up the season, and then I had to find somewhere else to go. I mean, I knew I was gonna continue college regardless, but of course, I wanted to keep playing. And just I had to basically restart all my recruiting again. So I had to start reaching out to schools again and doing all that, which is it's a headache and it's tough because you send so many emails and coaches' inboxes are slammed. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. But I mean, it came down to the connections because Eb knew Arginal. They have some kind of connection. So I reached out to Eb to help connect me with him. And again, it all comes back down to who you know. Like we were talking before we got on, and ultimately that played into the connection of me getting here. Um, I was really glad it all worked out, but I was definitely in shock for a really long time. It was weird just telling people, "Oh yeah, my school shut down." Like that's such a random thing to happen. Like your first year in college, like your school just gets like shut down out of nowhere. Like you don't even know what's going on, and so it's definitely was a welcome to college experience of just knowing that it can be taken away at any moment. Like don't get comfortable. Like things can get taken at any moment. So it kind of taught me that lesson. Just being really grateful every day of like my situation.
Yeah, damn, that was really well put. And I think another thing too, and I'm pretty sure we've touched on it here before. Like all of us, like we went to schools that a lot of people coming out of high school, unless you're going there for athletics, probably wouldn't end up there. And so if you go to a school such as Holy Names or like one of these schools that isn't a big name that people are like, oh yeah, I'm
Dominican
applying
too.
to
Yeah,
so
I
and
would say
so.
it's the same thing.
Exactly. Like the story of your school shutting down seems extremely foreign. Like that's not something that happens to, oh yeah, I went to Miami, the school shut. Like that doesn't
Yeah,
happen. You know what I mean? So it's just a
It's a
whole
great
new
point.
barrier that like you probably like I wouldn't even have known that was a thing that I was gonna have to come up with, like overcome. Like so, props to you, for making it out and
seriously.
getting your feet back on the ground. It's pretty
I
impressive.
mean, and essentially just getting thrust into the transfer portal with having nothing under your belt but a redshirt year. Like that's hard to. It's props to you for obviously you still wanted to play basketball, and then it goes back to who you know. Like you're sitting here, hey, like I just played this year at this school that's got shut down. I need someone to take a chance on me, even though I didn't play last year. Like I can help you,
It's
and
like I
obviously
didn't have no game film either. It was just
nothing.
kind of
Yeah,
going on like references and high school film. Like I think that's kind of tough. Is like you're sending out this film and it's your senior year, but I redshirted at a college program. Like that has to count for something. And I think technically it'll put you maybe above like other like high school, but other high school athletes. But I don't think it's going to put you over a guy that's already played a year or two at like
yep,
a junior college or another division, another level, because they've actually had like real experience. So it's still tough. Like the portal definitely. I didn't expect myself to be put in the portal at all. Like I'm the type of
right.
person that when I'm at a school, like I'm there to like try to build up from the ground up. Like I stayed at my high school for 4 years. I stayed with the same club team for 4 years minus COVID. That's just kind of who I am. Like I'm like real loyal in that sense. Like I wasn't planning on leaving. So I mean it kind of forced me into that. But yeah, no, I'm definitely glad I landed on my feet. So it
Yeah,
all worked out.
that's awesome. That's crazy. I haven't heard of many colleges getting shut down. So that's a
Yeah,
crazy
I know it's
story.
nuts.
It's definitely
I know that league's had 2 shut down in the last 5 years. So, but
Back
then the
west.
league,
Yeah,
yeah, because
Yeah.
Notre Dame, Dannemere shut down.
That's right.
Like right after COVID,
forgot
and
about that
then
school.
Holy
Yeah,
Names. But then you guys are adding, so the
It is like
conference is gonna,
Westmont is
Jessup,
coming in, Jessup, yeah,
yeah, and UC Merced, right? Or no,
Menlo,
not Merced,
Menlo.
Menlo. Yeah,
Menlo.
talk about the connections.
That's
Seriously,
crazy.
I mean, wow,
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely
What?
a stroll down
Oh,
memory lane for some of these
for
names
real.
that are
I mean,
popping
For
up
hearing
sure.
Hearing
tonight.
Ed's name just like
yeah.
that.
Radiating,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Sky
funny.
Ebb, man. Shout out Ebb. I talked to Ebb
talk
last
about
week.
energy.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Out of control, bro. It's amazing though. Like I remember
It's
I went for a workout with Holy Names like after I'd already committed, and in that practice, um, in the workout, the energy he was bringing like just right out of the office. I remember I was like tying my shoes up, and he was like, "Hey, Nanik, like just go hard, bring good energy, like don't worry about like trying to impress or anything like that. Just go out there and be yourself." And I went out there, and it was a great workout. And then we go to the weight room right after, and he's in there lifting
Oh,
with. And I'm just like, dude, like this is awesome. Like head coach
the
out there, like hitting bench with us and like on the ground, like doing everything like with the team. Like that's pretty cool. It's not that many head coaches that are like doing the lifts with their guys. So sorry, that's a little bit of a side tangent, but still like, yeah, shout
no,
out to
that's.
that's the Brian Rooney
I was just
tactic
gonna
right
say
there.
that's a Rooney.
That's the
That's a
Rooney
Rooney
tactic.
coaching tree right there.
is that East Base coach or Menlo
Yeah,
coach?
yeah,
Yeah.
East Bay?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Jay, what were you gonna
what
say before I cut
I
you
was
off?
gonna ask, what high school did you go to? I don't think I heard if he
Yes.
mentioned.
So I went to a small high school in Sacramento, specifically Citrus Heights, called San Juan High School of like 600
Yeah,
kids. It's the smallest school in
yeah,
San Juan Unified.
gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
So that must have been just getting from there. Like obviously we're in Sacramento. Well, I'm in Sacramento and been out here for a long time. And how was that process as far as for you trying to balance like picking the right school as far as academically and like athletically? Because you know, from an athletic standpoint, being at San Juan, like it's obviously not playing like they're not going to put you on the biggest stage, or you're not, you're not going to be in the limelight as much. So what helped you balance like choosing between your academic goals and your athletic goals? Because obviously you said earlier that the academic goals were just as important.
It's a great question, and the main reason why I went to San Juan was because I was connected to the head coach there on the varsity team, Freddie Bryant. Um, I knew him because I started training with him when I was in 7th grade, and definitely saw a future there. My mom also liked the aspect of it being a small school, meaning classes are a little bit smaller, so I could make that relationship with like my teachers and get extra help if I needed and stuff like that. And she knew if I went to a school of like 2,000 kids, 1,500 kids, it would have been better for me athletically. And I definitely reflected on that. Say if I was at like one of the bigger schools that, compete, maybe go to the playoffs every year and stuff like that, like that could have been better for my career athletically, could have pushed me further. But it is that balance that you're kind of asking about, which I think is a really good question because it did give me the opportunity to train and focus on myself because I had like I'll say it because I'm out of there now. I had a lot of gym access that I wouldn't have been able to get at like a Rio Americano or a Jesuit or wherever. Say like any like a bigger school
Yeah.
in SAC. Like I was able to get extra gym access, weight room access. I can get on the track when I wanted, stuff like that. And I don't think I would have been able to get that at a bigger school because I made those relationships with people and I really took advantage of that. Um, I think that really helped, and I was also able to explore my other passions as well because San Juan, they have a like media pathway and stuff. They have different like pathways and stuff where you can. There's like they have a wood shop pathway and things like that, and culinary. For me, I got interested in the media television arts program, so they do like broadcasting, radio shows, and different video production. And I started learning about that. Also like graphic design. So I was able
Oh,
to learn some of that throughout high school, and now I'm using those skills I learned in high school. Now I'm applying them outside of that. So it was really helpful to kind of make me a little bit more of like a well-rounded person and not just only focused on like the basketball and school aspect, which is obviously very important being a student athlete. That's like the main things. But I was also able to work on some of those extracurricular things as well at school.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about access. Back in the day, I used to get access to San Juan. They were love over
Really?
there. Oh yeah, back in the day, we used to train up there.
That's awesome.
Man,
Spartans.
I
Spartans,
mean, this
man.
is a full circle moment right here.
Yeah. And I think I was happy that you kind of touched on that and like your journey and things that go into it that have nothing to do with, I guess quote unquote like the clout of like, oh, I play at this high school, I play at this high
Yeah.
school, because like I experience this every year, and it just happened last week. Like everybody thinks that they're gonna be the guy at the school that like, hey, this school wins, so I should just go there because it's a good school, and like don't think about like what's really the best school for me. Because like
Fit's very
at the end of
important.
the day, like you're playing college basketball. Like Luke, Tommy playing college basketball. Like they didn't have to go to big name schools. You didn't have to go to big name schools to like get to where you wanted to be. And I feel like people just like get caught up in that stuff too early, whether it's like social media or whether it's just like someone's parents or their AU coach or whatever. But I think it's dope that like you had the courage to just kind of take your own path, because I think a lot of kids don't, or they're just like not self-aware, and then they end up in a bad situation.
I mean, absolutely. And also, you think about it going into college. I mean, every guy can't be the one averaging 20 or 30 a game. You have to, plug a role. I think that's a big misconception for a lot of kids, and something that I try to talk about a little bit, like on my end, is you got to be able to fill a role and be a master at your role. Like, to be honest, like there's people on the team that their only job is defense or rebounding or shooting, facilitating. It's like not everyone can be that 30-point per game scorer that's like on the front page every night. Like that's just the reality of it. And I think knowing that early on for me is just finding any way to provide value to the team that I'm on. And whatever that may be, if that's bringing energy on the bench, if that's hyping guys up when their heads are down, like any way to bring value to the program and ultimately win more games, I think you have to learn that, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, totally.
Man, yeah,
We talk about it
this
a
is
lot.
great, man. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
great. You're hitting the nail right on the head. I wanted to talk about kind of what you were touching on with the last question that Jared asked. Too, talking about being well rounded and kind of taking advantage of opportunities that you were in high school. I was just gonna say I think that's like a big lesson that you learned early, growing up, because a lot of like I did 6 years in college basketball. The amount of teammates that I saw that got lost in the process of it, that either you got too enveloped in basketball and forgot about school. Now basketball gets taken away, or you get caught up in a relationship or whatever it is. Being able to balance your life, compartmentalize, and make sure you're on top of all your things. The sooner you learn that lesson, the more successful you're going to be moving on in your college career. And like, you're early in your college career and everything. And I sound like an old head saying this right now, but I think you're going to reap those
Yeah.
benefits in a few years. Like things are just going to start coming to you a lot easier than you think. Cause I'm already done with my schoolwork. I already finished my prereqs for this class. I'm in an elective class over here that I really don't have to worry about this much. I can get extra 200 shots up today at this time. So it's things like that I think like, and like I said, I could pull up countless examples. I'm sure Jared has even more about people that,
Too many.
don't take care of their business in that sense, and you lose the game because of it. In hindsight, they were thinking that they were doing things for the game, but instead ended up shooting themselves in the foot. So it's definitely something that's tough, and it's part of the maturation process. But the fact that you were talking about that you figured all that out in high school is definitely pretty impressive.
I think it's just like the daily deposits, like finding anything that you can do every day to just keep stacking like good days. You want to just put something in the bank every day, whether it be like if it's a workout, and go get that workout in. If it's stretching or recovery, get that in. But it has to be something that's adding value every single day, in any aspect. Make sure you're getting your schoolwork done. Like that's a deposit. And I think if you get enough of those throughout the day, like you're winning ultimately. You just gotta get as many positives in as you can.
I mean,
And for the record, Luke, you damn near could have drove the rental car on the road trips for the team. So you are an old
Yeah.
head.
That's
Hey,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Old
That's fine.
head.
I think I have validation to speak on some things. And
Yeah.
that's all right. That's all right. That just means I'm experienced.
I think we all
Yes.
agree with you, Luke.
Yeah, there we go.
To kind of like keep this conversation move like to the next part, I feel like is really important. Now that you are in the position that you're in, you're at a good college with a good coach that has good energy and all that stuff. on the day to day, like you coming in as a redshirt freshman, what you kind of just mentioned it, but like, what is one of the main things that you try to focus on daily to get those deposits, like specifically, like
Daily.
because kids hear what you're saying, but like they don't know
Yeah.
really what you mean. So, like, what are the things you're focusing on to make those deposits positive every day?
Oh, it's a great question too. I would say the first thing I would say before I kind of think about some examples there is that it's still an uphill battle. Like coming in as a as a redshirt freshman, having seen that they recruited a whole bunch of coaching staff, brought in like juniors and some sophomores and stuff like that. Like, that happened. Like they still filled out the team. It wasn't like just because I'm coming over that I'm just gonna walk right into 6 men off the bench or a starting two guard spot. Like that's not the reality of the situation. That it's still an uphill battle every day. So in knowing that, my response to that is going to be my deposits, right? So let me get to that is getting shots up is the easiest thing to do, right? I mean, as a shooter, you got to get your shots up, got to get your reps in. So a positive deposit would be like after practice, grabbing the gun and getting like 200 or 300 shots up on the gun, or just counting your makes. If whatever you can do, say I have like 30 minutes, I'm gonna see how many makes I can get in 30 minutes. And that's something positive. Say after class, I need to stretch. I need to do like an ice bath. So I like to ice bath like 4 or 5 times a week, and that's more for like my
Mm.
mentality. And I see that as a something that I really don't want to do, but I'm gonna like force myself to do it anyway. And I see that as another positive deposit because not only is it something I don't want to do and I'm uncomfortable, but I'm kind of overriding that in my mind and just gives me in you can look at the science behind ice baths, like they're great for your mind and body. So that's like another positive deposit. And then another one I would say is like trying to get good sleep every night. So trying to get my 8 hours in, that's another positive. And you see it, you start just stacking all these little wins together. Dang, I actually had a really good day. I had a productive day. Oh, I sat down, got this homework done. Man, that was solid. I think you'll see the things that are productive and that are moving the needle. Like if you wake up in the morning and you have 5 or 6 things on your like reminders to-do list, and at the end of the day, none of them are marked off, you probably didn't really move the needle that much. I think that's a tangible way of being able to tell what you got done in a day is for me, I use Google Calendar, but just like to walk through my day. But also in my reminders app, I have like 4 or 5 different ones. I have like one that says podcast, one that says basketball, one that says what to accomplish, one that says homework, something like that. And within those little different groups, I have basketball tasks that I need to get done in that day. I have work I need to get done for the podcast in that day. So that would be like, oh, I need to shoot an interview. I need to post a clip of content. Under the homework tab, I have like my assignments, and having all that stuff organized, it's a tangible way of being able to tell all the stuff I have to get done in the day. And then at the end of the day, reassessing that and see how much stuff I got done. And that's like a really good way of being able to tell, oh, okay, I have much less things in this tab now. I got stuff done today. Like it was a good day today. I think that's like definitely how I assess the deposits.
Nice.
Positive
Dope.
deposits. I mean,
Daily.
that's a
Life
great.
goal.
I
Google
love that.
Calendar.
Daily.
I love that.
Ooh,
That is
y-
awesome.
Speaking like a true adult.
Yeah,
I mean, and
seriously.
Nanik, you're hitting on everything we love to preach and talk
It's
about on
big
this
time.
pod, and that's why I love that. Like, it's the little things, man. And we talk, Jared, Luke, and I talk about this all the time. Like, people just don't understand that it's like you said, it's the little wins every single day. That's how you get better, just 1%, brick by brick, every single day. And everything you just talked about is just so perfect to what we've discussed on this podcast and what we want to build the podcast on. So I love that.
No, and I feel like you don't see the work right away, and that's what's hard, like for
Yeah,
athletes. I
absolutely.
I do one workout and dang, like my arms aren't that big, I'm not jumping that high yet, and it's like it's frustrating. Or like you get one night of good sleep, but you still feel tired the next day. Like all right, you got to get back at it again tomorrow. It's like it's an everyday thing, and you can't be upset if you don't see results in 1 or 2 days or weeks, months. You can see there's millions of reels talking about this kind of stuff. It's nothing special. It's just the reality of the situation. It's either you learn it quick or you let it beat you. And I think it's much better to learn that that's how things go and respond accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, but to not to discount what you said, but like I think it is difficult because it's like I had just told somebody this today. Like you have to make the stuff that's boring not boring to you.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's it. Like the boring stuff can't be boring. If it's boring, then like you're not gonna do it. So it's
Becomes a
like
chore.
it's like the boring stuff can't be boring. Like, and that's the reality is that 98% of people that play sports or do anything in life, like the boring stuff is boring and they just like end up stop doing it.
And
So I
you're
think,
totally right. And it's like it's the small stuff Nanik talked about, like getting a stretch in, like that's so important to avoid injury and just remain in good shape and be ready to play. Like people, a lot of not, I'm not saying everybody isn't, but a lot of people aren't stretching after the
10
workout
minutes.
or
Get
stretching at
10 minutes
night.
in.
Exactly. Like it's stuff like that, and that's what you're talking about, Jared. Like people probably like, I don't need to do that. Like I'll stretch before I
boring.
work out. It's boring.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that you have to do to get better every single day.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
I don't even
No,
say
that's
like
big time.
I wouldn't even. I would go even further. Like it's a lesson you got to learn, and like you got to acknowledge it, but you have to fall in love with it. And like that,
Mhm.
that's the. I think that's the
Yep.
difficult part for a lot of people because yeah, it's one thing to like you're saying, push yourself through it and everything, but once it becomes habit and once it becomes something that man, this is what I do. Like this is what I'm proud of. This is what I do, and then that's when it's like okay, it's second nature now. Like I can do this every single day, and it's not the chore like Jared's talking about. So I think I think it's definitely a big piece to hit on, and I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, it's impressive that you speak so well on it already, and you know, I wish
Yeah.
I had that mindset too, back in the day. But
I
let's switch
appreciate it.
gears, man.
Yeah.
Let's move from what we're talking about straight to the podcast. So talk to us about your podcast. Talk to us. You know, you've kind of sprinkled it in a little bit, saying that we talk about this on your podcast and everything, but you know, give us the rundown, give the people a little summary of what you talk about. You can go into whatever you want, but you know, I know we're interested as well.
Hell yeah.
Okay. No, I really appreciate the opportunity. So, you know, the True to Life podcast, funny origination of the pod. Um I first got into podcasting in high school actually. I was a part of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, which is like a leadership group within my school, and they wanted a podcast for the school district. It was called the San Juan Unified Student Podcast. Interviewed people within the school district, teachers, um, the superintendent herself, board members, stuff like that. So that first off got me interested in the idea of interviewing, learning about people's story, and you know, bringing content to people more broadly and bridging a gap between students in the school district and the leadership and administration. That was the goal of that podcast. So that's a little bit of background of kind of what got me into podcasting. And then a year or two later, I find myself as a red shirt at Holy Names, second semester, season's over. I have a lot of free time on my hand. I'm trying to think what are ways that I can, you know, what's something that I can do with my free time. And I listen to podcasts every day. It's something that I enjoy doing, and I really wanted to do it. So just basically my mindset was like, let's just make it happen, right? At first, I just kind of wanted it to be just kind of a free flowing, open. Let's just have a podcast where I just talk to people and just hear about their life and their experiences. And I pitched that to specifically my dad, and he told me that you need to have like a target audience. You need to have someone that you're talking to, like who are the people that you're trying to target and get your information to, and you need to have a source of like expertise or a sense of expertise at that topic. And being a student athlete myself for my entire life, that's something that I've done every single day. Every day I wake up as a student athlete. So I've had a lot of days under with that hat on my head. So that's ultimately where I decided to go with the pod. But I like the idea of keeping it also about um life, adversity, struggle, all under that like student athlete lens. Because student athletes have to deal with a lot, but between like school, life, and sports, how all that you know plays with one another, and also just having like true and honest conversations. So that's kind of where like the True to Life name came from. And as all the interviews are with you know, coaches, athletic trainers, I've had an athletic director on, a collegiate athletic director, and then other like players in sports. So like soccer athletes, volleyball, basketball. I've tried to get all kinds of sports on because I want to be, you know, diverse and hit like a whole bunch of different groups. But obviously, being a basketball player, a lot of my contacts and relationships are basketball players. So that's one thing I've kind of struggled with a little bit. Is trying to get other sports on because I'm already speaking from like that student athlete basketball lens. So I've been conscious of that, trying to reach other people. Ultimately, what started out as like a passion project has now became something that I've maintained. I was like, all right, let me stay consistent. We'll go bi-weekly. I do like solo pods where I like take a topic, say like the Google Calendar, for example, which I mentioned earlier. Like I made a solo podcast on that of how that's effective and how that's helped me, manage my busy life and all that stuff that's going on. And then also providing just like that one-on-one about what it is like day in life of a college basketball player. That's kind of in those little solo pod segments just to give people like an insight of what, being the student athlete life is. And then the other part is going to be those interviews. So I do like 2 episodes a month, one like bi-weekly. And I've stayed consistent with that since I started, and I'm at almost like 30 episodes now. So just continuing to push it along, and also like getting that content up on Instagram and just trying to grow it. It's tough, man. It's tough. I know you guys can probably admit it's a grind, it's a struggle, it's
It is.
consistency, but it's just showing up and doing it. And I enjoy doing it. It's a great outlet. I know you guys can agree. Just hearing people's stories is so special. And it's really been a really cool platform.
Yeah. No,
That's dope.
that's dope, man. It's super dope. I think it was about time we got you on here because you,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, hitting the nail on the head. You definitely all the morals align with what we're talking about and everything, and that's gonna lead me into my final question. I know these two
Yeah.
might have a couple extra, but we talk about the walk on mindset on the walk on pod here, and it has a different definition for each of us. But I wanted to ask you from your perspective and your experiences and where you are today, what would you say the walk on mindset means to you?
I definitely resonate with the walk on mindset because in AAU, even in coming into high school, middle school, like I was never the player that got a lot of attention, media coverage, the mixtapes, all that stuff. I always wanted it. Like I remember the first time I got like a Cali Hoop mixtape, it was like the biggest day of my life. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? Because I never got that coverage. Honestly, admittedly, I was always jealous of the other players that would get all this attention and like just like the Instagram cloud, and it's really nothing at the end of the day because I ended up making it my own way and forging my own path no matter what. But it was tough because I always felt that I fought like an uphill battle no matter what, wherever I'm at. I know coming into high school, it was an uphill battle to get minutes my first year. Across the board, then coming to college, being a red shirt and not even, I wasn't like one of the best guys on, like just the confidence, just always battling. I think that's what the walk on mindset is. It's just like it's an uphill, it's a long journey, and just playing that long game and trusting the process and just focusing on that individual improvement. I feel like I resonate with heavily. I mean, it's a lot of pressure too, but I mean, you're doing it because you love it, and it doesn't really feel like a job because at the end of the day, it's what the goal is. It's always been the goal. Like this is what I've been, and I have to remind myself sometimes. This is what I've been dreaming for. This I've been thinking about
Yep.
nearly my entire life, and I'm actually here now. And sometimes that's even crazy to think about. And even though I'm here, it's still still an uphill battle. I'm using that phrase a lot because that's what it feels like. I think that's the best way to put it. And just keep grinding. And I mean, you guys can definitely resonate with the walk on piece of it, and I think that's a really good question. So
Yeah, no, I think you bodied it. Honestly, that was a great answer.
Yeah.
That was a really
appreciate
good
it.
answer.
I don't have any
Jared,
further questions, man.
Yeah.
You're hitting it out of the park. So
No,
You
sounds
guys are
good.
great, man.
All right, man. Well, let's get
this is
into
my
it. Let's get
favorite
into
part
the
right
starting
here. Yes,
five.
sir.
Yeah, let's get into the
The
starting five.
draft.
So I warned him. I warned him that we get into it and we get carried away. So
Yeah.
be
Try
ready.
to keep
Be
it in
ready. So
line.
we have college basketball officially tipped off yesterday at the time of recording. Once this gets uploaded, it'll be about a weekend. But we have starting five college basketball arenas coming your way today. And as I'm saying this, I'll pull up the results because I know
I was close.
these
The
two over
walk on
here.
was close, wasn't it?
Um, I
I tried to
actually,
check it before
I'm
24
not gonna
hours.
lie, Jared. I think you won. I
Did
think you
Jared
might have
win?
won. I think you might have won, which
Do you
doesn't
guys
happen
have
often.
like a poll that goes up that votes
Yeah.
on the best
Yeah.
teams?
So we do the
Okay,
poll
bet.
Yes.
every single. All right. So Jared, you won
I'm
the walk on. Tommy
Yo,
won
who is the
the
most
actual.
wins? I'm curious.
I have to battle the Tommy army every week. It's an
Nanik,
uphill
here's the
battle.
thing, man.
You want to
He
talk about uphill
thinks
battles?
Uphill battle.
he thinks that I'm producing the most followers on our Instagram page, which is just it's probably false.
Oh.
I don't know the facts behind it. I don't know who has the most
You
wins.
played
I
at
would
San
feel
Juan, but I don't know if you know who Mr. Trojan is, but that is Mr. Sauce Ridge himself, Tommy
anyway.
Ball,
Oh,
Mr.
right.
Trojan.
Anyway,
That's
I
awesome.
think I have the most wins, but I don't know.
I'm sure he does. I'm actually,
I'd say
yeah.
yeah, it's probably Tommy. Probably
I
Tommy.
probably have the
I-
least amount of wins. So like anytime I can get a win, I'm gonna talk my
How many
Every
talk.
guests
now
you-
and then,
do you guys usually get? Does the guest ever get a win or what?
I was
Oh,
gonna say
yeah.
every now and then
Oh,
the
oh
guest
my
bodies
God.
us. Every now
Wait,
Wait,
and
gonna
then
lie.
the guest.
what was the worst one? Was that not Nick or
Adem.
what?
Adem.
Oh,
Adem.
yeah.
So Adem Bona at UCLA. That's our dog. Shout out to Adem.
That's
Yes,
tough.
sir.
Hey, yeah,
He
28
came in,
and
we did-
9 last night. Good
Yeah,
stuff,
just
my
like-
dog.
just
Yes,
just
sir,
a
Adem.
monster. But he came in and reposted the poll and everything. All his followers just went and hit Adem. It was like
Yeah.
99% to 0-0. Like it was
Oh my
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, he has like
absolutely cleaned up.
50,000 followers.
Adem's got a
so
little
it's like,
following. Adem has a little
Yeah.
following for
Got a
sure.
little IG cloud action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely helped him out. But yeah, Tommy,
Yeah.
you did win last week. Jared won the walk
Oh.
on. So the way we usually do it, we usually give it to the guest. If you want to decide if we want to do serpentine draft style or if you want to go all 5, give your lineup, and then we'll circle back around for walk on. It's up to you. You can kind of, give us the rules here, and then we'll go from there.
So it's either like a fixed draft setup or serpentine where we go like 1-1-1-1 and then
It'll
like
either
a
be
bubble at the end,
yeah,
or
I mean,
how would you
you
do it?
could whatever you want to do. We
I
could
feel
do
like
it however you
that's
like.
like the most fair drafting style.
Yeah,
I think. I
100%.
feel like that's the
Absolutely.
I think that's the way to do it.
All
Let's
right,
go.
man. Do you want first pick, and then we can go the way my screen looks, which is you, me, Jared, Tommy, and then we'll circle back around.
yeah, I'm good with it.
All right,
Done.
Go.
all right,
I'm
man.
gonna-
Start us
I'm gonna
off
have
point
to
guard. Who we
I'm gonna have
got?
to scoop up Duke at PG.
Yeah,
Duke at PG.
That's a
Cameron
big Luke pick.
Crazies.
Gonna have to.
nah, I'm definitely.
Luke
I
was a
definitely
big
have
Duke
couple-
guy.
Yeah, I definitely have. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments, but that's okay.
Are we?
It wasn't my
should
point
I
guard.
write my team over here? Should I? What should I? Are you guys keeping track here?
Nah,
I'll keep track of it. I mean,
we have
what were you gonna say?
we have a great editing team. So
I love it.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
we
that's
have a
for sure.
great editing team.
Shout out to our
so my
editing
point
team,
guard.
man.
I'll go ahead and rip point guard here, which I think I'm going to take one of Jared's. My point guard,
Don't do it. I swear to God.
because Cameron Indoor wasn't my point guard. He definitely came to tryouts and was in my lineup, but it's all right. It was a great pick. You got to get that one out the way early. So my point guard embodies tradition. My point guard embodies tradition. And he's just a hard-nosed player. You know what type of game you're in when you go to this place, and college basketball wouldn't be the same without it. I got Assembly Hall.
I will kick you through this computer.
University of
Assembly
Indiana.
Hall.
I have to put it at the point guard. It just makes the most sense. Jared, thank you, man.
That's
Go ahead.
crazy, man. Tell me how many seats it has. If you tell me how many seats it has, I'll let you have it.
It has
That's
more than
nice.
like 17, 18, 19.
What? You
Like,
wish
it's up
it
there.
has 19.
All right, man.
Well,
I'm there.
that
It's-
yeah.
Come on,
It's pretty
man.
close.
This is crazy. This is what we're doing. All right, at my point guard, this was where I wanted to play. Didn't happen. I'm okay with it. I'm not sad about it. But at my point guard, give me the kennel, the original kennel, Gonzaga
Mm.
Bulldogs, the original kennel,
it's gonna be a
Okay.
tough
not the
one,
new
too.
one,
It's
Good
gonna be
pick.
a really tough
Original
with the
one.
high steep, just like Assembly Hall.
Okay.
Ugh.
My point guard. We've talked about the positive deposits, the everyday guy. And
Oh,
your
yeah.
point guard has to be an everyday guy. Your point guard's got to be someone that shows up no matter what, no matter who you're playing. And this stadium's packed out no matter who they're playing. I can say this firsthand, being in the stadium, playing in this arena. Give me the Marriott Center at the point guard.
This
Home
place
of
is
the home
nuts.
of the
It's really big.
Cougars,
This place
BYU
is nuts.
Cougars. Luke's played there too. He knows.
Yeah,
And
It
they
might be
pack-
top 5. It might be top 5 nicest arenas
They
I've ever
pack
been
it.
in.
Oh.
It's an amazing arena. Number one. Number two, they pack it out no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah.
Nanik, if Dominican goes to play BYU this weekend, I promise you it's sold out. It does
Yeah.
not matter.
Dude,
they don't.
There's a
I wouldn't be
special
surprised.
following up there.
It's
and
crazy.
the the production is as close to an NBA production that you'll get. Like you feel like you're in a My Player. Like
It's actually
situation.
we talked about this, right? Not to detract from you, Tommy, but like it seats more people than the Utah Jazz Arena.
I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Wow, that's
It's
insane.
bigger than it's actually bigger than the Utah Jazz Arena.
playing
And there's
there
a
last
huge
year
the
was
huge shrine of Jimmer when you walk in on the left
Yeah.
is crazy.
it didn't feel real in that arena last year. Just rocking, start to finish.
That place is nuts, dude. That
Nuts.
place is crazy.
Nuts.
That's a really good.
The backcourt mate. I'm gonna go with it. You know, it's an incredible home court advantage. You'd think, you know, unfortunately these guys lost yesterday, but I've got the Breslin Center, home of the Izzone, Michigan State Spartans.
Now, what's
got
up with
that
your
at
boys,
two.
man? They took a
That's
hard
a
L
bad
yesterday.
loss, dude. That's a bad loss. Not much more to say, but you know, it's usually rocking in there. So give me the Breslin Center. Good arena right there.
So at my shooting guard, before someone else takes another one, I know this one's gonna get picked, so I'm just gonna put it here now. You know, this guy, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but man, he battles and he fights. And when I'm in there, I get my shots up and I fire. So give me the Hornets' nest at the shooting guard, Sac State.
Oh my gosh,
Whoa,
you're
what a
crazy.
sneak peek.
I'm
crazy.
up
That's
there.
horrible. That's
I'm
awful.
up
That's
there.
awful,
we spent a
dude.
lot
That's
of
the worst
time
gym
in there.
America.
Yes. Shooting guard. I'm fighting. I'm battling up there.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got a lot of character, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Stan
COVID
Hall High School
runs,
probably
come
has
on,
a
man.
bigger gym.
Good
Come
times
on,
in the
COVID.
nest. Good
Yeah.
times in the nest. Shout out to Aaron Haynes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
my
Fitzy
shooting-
with the login.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
hometown
yeah.
fits. Yes, sir.
My shooting guard's one that I mean, I don't know if it's gonna get taken. It's a fun one. I have a few on here that I don't know if would make the list if I didn't play out there, the arena. So it has a special place in my heart. We played here. We didn't play a real game. We played a close scrimmage here, which I actually thought was a super dope experience because you kind of get to see the arena for what it is without the fans and like what the atmosphere brings to it. You kind of appreciate what the arena is on itself by itself. And we had a close scrimmage here right before my first playing year, so right after I registered. Give me the pit of University of New Mexico.
That's everybody
I
says
actually
it's a
had that on
place.
my board.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
really wow. There we go. I
Good
like
pick
that.
from
Sick.
Luke.
The pit of New Mexico. Yeah, we went there. Not one soul in the gym outside of the two teams, and it was dope. It was so dope. So yeah, and it holds a special place. That was my first live action as a college basketball player. So you know, we got to put it in there.
Love it. Nice pick.
Is it on to me now? Do I have a double?
It's back
On
to
to
you.
you
Yeah,
guys. Double.
you do.
First of all, I like to say that I love your guys' introductions to your picks. I
Yes.
definitely dropped the ball on that first one, so I try my best here.
Good.
So this pick, I'm going with this one. I may get roasted on the voters for it, but as a sentimental value because it was the first Division I arena that I didn't play in, but I was on the bench for because I was a redshirt. But I'm going with UC Davis only because of the sentimental value. So
I like that pick.
I'm gonna have to go at the 2 guard UC Davis.
I like that as well.
And man, yeah, a couple of my picks got snagged. For the small forward, I feel like the times that I remember watching March Madness, this team always, I always manage to see them going crazy. Going to Kansas
Kansas.
Ooh, yeah,
That's
Allen
a great
Fieldhouse.
pick.
at the
great
small
spot.
forward.
Yeah,
It's a great
Allen
pick.
Fieldhouse is a classic.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been on Jared's list. So
No,
my small
not a
forward
big
is
Jayhawk
another.
guy.
Yeah, it's another personal pick at my small forward, and we talked about welcome to college basketball moments. This was my welcome to college basketball moment. First college game that I was on the roster, redshirt year at McHale Center, opening night, DeAndre Ayton against Arizona. So I got McHale
Ooh.
Center. We opened there every
Stuff.
single
That place
year.
is crazy too.
And it was rocking. You can't even hear
Mm.
play calls from your coach right next to you. It was nuts. So McHale Center, Arizona.
Shout out Murph, man. Murph's now he went over to the dark side.
I got a lot of love for Murph. Got a lot of love for Murph. So yeah, I had to give it the nod there at the small forward.
So this player at small forward now, his mascot was in high contention when we had that starting 5.
Mm.
And I feel like I have to give his home base like a solid nod here. This place is, like many small forwards, you know, has a lot of length, has a lot of athleticism, has a lot of different tools. So give me the Carrier Dome.
I hate you.
Where
Mm.
Syracuse plays. I knew
Definitely
it.
was on the
I
list,
knew
man.
it.
Definitely
So
was
I
on
knew
the
it.
list.
Yeah.
This is so
Yeah.
annoying.
Shout out to the Carrier Dome, man. That's a good
Carrier
pick.
Dome.
Annoying, bro. I
That's a
hate
good
this.
pick. All right.
That's the blueprint for all the domes, including the J Walk Up Sky Dome.
The J Walk Up Sky Dome, man.
Didn't
And that's
make
my
the
small
list.
forward. No, I'm kidding. It's my small forward. Nanik went with a little sentimental value. I'll go with a little sentimental value as well. This is definitely my favorite road trip / arena. Being in the Big Sky the last 3 years, always loved going to this place, and I think it's probably Luke. You can either agree or disagree with me here. Probably the most sleek arena, I think, in the Big Sky. My favorite place to go. Give me the Viking Pavilion. I got Portland
Yeah,
State's
Oh
arena
yeah.
at
That's
the
a
3.
really nice arena.
Super nice
That's
arena.
That's actually an incredible pick.
Yeah.
I love
Before that
that.
was built, they had like a Sac State style gym.
Yeah.
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 Not anymore. It's a
Actually,
great
Anymore.
arena.
That place is nice.
Yeah.
Fun fact: my freshman year, they were building the stadium, and so you couldn't go on like campus, and because they were tearing the old one down and everything, they played at Lewis and Clark College for their games.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Fun
I've
Fun
played
fact.
pickup
fact.
there before.
Wow. Yeah. Viking Pavilion at the 3. Just star studded. I mean, what? Idaho's got a good arena now, but I still like Portland State's better. So,
That's a good one.
at the 4, I'm gonna go with one that can't say I've stepped foot in, but I just love the way it looks, and I think it's a perfect stretch 4 for us. I think he's gonna knock down shots. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and shout out to former walk-on pod guest JoJo, coach on staff. Give me Gallagher Arena, Oklahoma
That's a good
State.
one. That's a
Yeah,
really good one, actually.
love that arena, and
It's a
shout
unique
out to
setup,
JoJo
too.
on the sidelines in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
go.
JoJo in the polo.
Yes, sir. Can we clip that and send it to him, please?
Yeah, I'm telling him. I'll have that for him tonight.
He's gonna listen, man. JoJo, you're gonna listen to this episode. If you don't listen to this episode,
Yeah,
man,
but
you're gonna hear from me.
I'm very close with the editing team that you were mentioning earlier, and we're gonna get that to him before this episode gets dropped.
Let's go.
So.
Yep, I like that. I like that.
All right. At my power forward, this is my heavy hitter. This guy actually has more seats than Assembly Hall. It's not as cool as Assembly Hall, but it has more seats. A lot of tradition, a lot of draft picks. Give me Rupp Arena.
Yep.
Rupp Arena,
Rupp Arena.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it.
my power forward. That's my heavy
solid.
hitter.
My power forward, it's another one that I've been to. I feel like a lot of these they're getting the nod because I've been there and I haven't experienced there. We got ran there. We got ran out the gym bad, but it's similar to what Tommy's saying. It's a sleek arena, and I feel like when you think of like what a high level college basketball arena looks like, this is kind of what I imagined the blueprint was as I was kind of going through the whole process. I got Bramlage Coliseum, K-State. They were decked out in purple when we were there. And it was a super
They
dope
lost
experience.
last night, but yeah.
Definitely a big time arena, and their practice facility was phenomenal as well. That was the redshirt year, so we got to do a couple extra workouts there when we were there for the 2 days, and I got to enjoy the benefits of that. So it was definitely a dope experience there. So I got K-State at the power forward.
Great pick. Is it me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
You got
So,
two.
Power
I'm-
forward
I'm-
center.
Oh, this is how I'm gonna close it out. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, the
So
front court.
At
Front
the
court.
4, I'm really liking the sentimental piece. So I'm gonna have to put this one in there again.
Let's
I
go.
don't care if I get roasted. And I think it's still a good pick, but a little bit of background. So this summer, I was working with PGC basketball, and one of the camps was at UW, so I got to kind of see the arena a little bit, and I'm gonna have to go with UW as my 4 spot.
Now, is that one called? Is that Jared?
Alaska Airlines Arena.
Alaska Airlines
Yeah.
Arena, correct.
I think they're
Ed
big Alaska
Hoc.
Airlines.
Technically,
over
it's
there.
Ed Hoc Arena, but they call it Alaskan Airlines.
That's a
Alaska
fun
Airlines,
one.
yeah.
We played
big
we played
sponsor.
there last year. That's a fun one.
And for my 5, upon doing a little bit of research, actually they're coming up on their 100th year anniversary supposedly, but I'm going with Butler.
Ooh,
Nice. That's a classic one.
At
the
the-
Hinkle
at the 5
Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's how I'm closing them out.
Like that. It's a big arena.
So you guys might throw the flag here, and that's okay. But I have an arena that's not tied to a team. It is a neutral site, but college basketball is played here every year. It's a classic spot for basketball of all levels, but
I'm
specifically
seeing
college
some head
basketball.
shaking.
I have
Nice.
Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
What the
They're
heck?
I was
playing-
actually
Nobody
literally
cares.
watching. I was literally watching a game being played there before we got on
just
here.
now. Auburn was playing.
Uh huh.
right.
I'll give it the nod. It's a good arena.
Nothing. That's a good arena.
Everyone
Jared's
knows that
mad.
arena. They have
All right,
they
so
have the
that-
old key
hey,
painted in the middle.
All right,
like,
got it. So that's playing, right? That's plays. No flag.
I'm
No
asking.
flag.
No,
I like
that
it.
plays. If that
Yeah,
plays,
I like
cool. Perfect. This sets up my center. This is the Mecca.
No,
The
don't do it.
Mecca.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yes,
don't do it.
the
Don't do it.
Mecca.
No, don't do it.
Madison Square Garden.
No, dude.
Give it to
screw
me.
You.
Give it to me. The original Big East. I thought that's where you were going, Luke. I thought you were going to take my pick.
I was picking that.
Madison Square Garden. That is my center. That is the Mecca. That is where Kemba became Cardiac Kemba. So Cardiac
Cardiac
Kemba,
Kemba.
thank you. Madison Square Garden at my center. Sorry, Tom.
See that
Alright, man.
the reason why I want to throw a flag there and it's gonna
What?
sound hypocritical, but
I
no,
knew you
listen,
were going to.
listen. No, listen, because that's the home to an NBA team. Mine's not a home to a different.
That's because nobody wants to be in Sioux Falls.
No, but that's
Uh,
it's college basketball specific. You know what I mean?
So
That's
the
why I
Big
felt like
East
it
is
played.
tied to the Madison Square Garden. Come on.
It's who's if people say Madison Square Garden, what do they think?
Big East
Yeah.
tournament.
The New York Knicks.
Oh my gosh! Shit. That's fine. I'll let it
All
rock.
right,
That's
all right,
crazy
all
to me.
right.
That's
high
I'm
five.
glad you went first because I'm glad that we let yours rock. That's why I wanted to make
Mine was-
sure.
Man.
I think mine's way different, but that's okay. Like,
Yeah. At my 5. Jared wants to
Garden.
take my pick. Whatever. We'll go with some tradition. We have Cameron on here. We got Rupp Arena. Means I got to go with Dean East Smith Arena. Give me the Tar Heels.
That's a
For
great pick.
5
Great pick.
tradition. Last pick here, the walk-on pick, underrated. That's the walk-on mindset, you know. I played in this arena, love this arena. Definitely top 3 places I've been in and played at. So give me Grand Canyon University's arena. I
That's a
don't
great pick.
necessarily
That's a good
know
pick.
the name, but I mean,
that's a really
holy,
good pick.
It gets rocking in there.
it gets
Yeah.
rocking in there, but it's just like it's not too big. And it's not like it doesn't feel small either. It feels big, but it's really not that big.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I really like about it. So and it's just
Yeah.
super nice, brand new, like great arena.
That's like the problem with Pauly. Pauly just like, bro, it's just too spread out. It's too big. So it's like you don't
Yeah.
even feel like you can't feel the fans when you're on the floor.
Honorable mention to Southern Utah's gym. I don't know if anyone was gonna take that, but that's the same feel.
I've got to go get
Um,
in some of these gyms, man. These sound electric.
Yeah.
Walk on pick. Yeah. Everybody went sentimental at least once. I'll go sentimental once. Spent a lot of time in this gym.
The wheel.
And, the hard part about this place is that the assistant coaches, who will not be named, were notorious for putting the rims up after practice, making it impossible to work out. So anytime the rims were down or the box was open, it was a good day. So give me Pioneer Gymnasium. Spent a lot of time in there. Really
Go
honed my
Pios.
craft.
The Pios.
Honed my
baby.
craft. So
OG
CP.
Waters.
another
OG
shout out to
Waters.
Eb. Eb was in there a lot in his years there. Maybe not as me. I hope you hear this. Probably not in there as much as I was, but
Was ZP in there as much as you?
sources say 50-50.
That's
We'll get
still
the
up for
editing
debate.
team. We'll get the editing team to get that over to ZP to confirm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah.
Depends on what
that
was
one's
going
still
on
up
in
in the air.
Juniper. So
Okay. Anywho, my walk on. My walk on fits the walk on narrative because it's an unassuming location. You see the school, you see the conference, and you're like, there's no way this place is rocking. There's no way this place is the place to be on a Tuesday night against 2 of the worst teams in the Big Sky. I got Dahlberg Arena, University of Montana. This place,
Yeah.
when you
that's a
talk
great
about-
place.
You
That's a
talk
nice
about
place.
what-
I
Yeah.
love
you talk about
Dahlberg.
what college basketball stands for, which is just pride in your team and being a crazy about the teams that are on the floor. That's what University of Montana does. Because
It is
again,
so
you're in
hard
the
to
middle
win
of
there.
you're in the middle of Missoula. It's probably a blizzard. There's not a
Yeah.
street light on within 10
There's
miles of the
nothing
arena.
to do except be in that gym.
and it is sold out on a Monday night against
Wow.
the worst teams in the Big Sky, and it's
The only
rocking.
show.
Yeah. So I
That
had
place
to
is
get,
awesome.
and I was
That's a great pick, man. I'm
Got
gonna
30
that
balls
was-
both times there.
man, it was my favorite place to play at in the Big Sky. I always shot well too. Like I don't know if it was a visual thing or what, but like, or maybe it was like the crowd, because every time you would hit a shot, like there's always like you want to have that like crowd silencer moment. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't even if I hit a big shot that was like a crowd silencer. It was just like you could hear the air get sucked out of the gym when you hit a shot, and the momentum.
That's
was
a
just
pretty
like,
cool
boom.
feeling.
It was
You'll have
so
Charles
dope,
Burns
man.
in there cheering for you if you hit the shot.
Good
Yeah,
old shout out
exactly.
Charles, man. We got a lot of
Chuck-
shout outs this episode, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's good.
Chuck will
That's good.
always be in Dahlberg Arena rooting for the other team. You can
Yeah,
count on that.
He's a diehard. He's a diehard. So I felt like it was perfect for the walk on. I was afraid Tommy was going to steal it, but
I thought about it
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
definitely give me Dahlberg. All right, man. Finish this up. Walk on pick. What's your walk on arena, man?
Oh, is that to me?
Yeah.
Man.
You got a walk-on pick.
Oh, is this like what?
The
like
walk-on pod,
The
yeah,
six,
this is-
the
this-
sixth spot, basically.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
your
Yeah,
underdog.
Okay. I'm gonna. I didn't realize this was part of the plan. I'm taking on the spot here, but
Love it.
I'm gonna have to go with, believe it or not, the very, very last game ever played in Tobin Gymnasium, the Holy Names Hawks home, the Nest.
I like that.
That's a good pick.
Insane. It's a super, super small gym. It is. But when
Yeah.
you have both baselines packed, the entire sideline packed, and people outside of the gym just trying to get like a glimpse inside because alumni showed up, everyone from school showed up. It was insane. It was a really, really live environment, and we won the game. And that's my walk on pick. Tobin
What a way to
Gymnasium.
go out.
I like that. I like that.
There's nothing better than a
Street-
standing room only gym and a small one.
Insane.
Yeah.
The streets are saying Marcellus Howard used to have the gym rocked like that. I don't know if that's true.
Yo.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true.
So,
My fault.
so I was
Yeah.
getting bucks in there?
Maybe Packy might have.
Dang, don't do stuff like that, Jared. Come on.
Nah, Sal knows I love him, but those were some hard games to watch. I'm just not gonna lie to you.
All right, man.
Those are some hard games to watch.
Another episode in the books. Nanik, we really this was an incredible conversation, man.
on.
We really
On
You hear what's
This
going
is
on,
not-
right now?
bro?
This is
How many
crazy.
episodes have we done, Tommy? This
Hey,
is crazy.
Come
dude.
on, man. Hey,
Yeah,
like
it's like
my fault,
Tom,
man. My
It
fault.
it might be late for Tom. It's late for Tom now. You're over in Marin County. It's nice out in Marin County.
Oh, it feels great out here.
Yeah, I bet. Sun's shining. Okay. Now, we talked about spending a lot of time in the gym, but once I get my shots up, I'm done in the gym. I'm going to go get my 50 chips a night because when I get on that big stage, my game is going to be feeling right.
Nice.
Yo.
your
That
resident
means
golfer.
Nothing. Yeah, that
Jared
means
Waters.
nothing,
It
I
does,
love
baby.
How's your golf?
You
game,
golf at all?
Nanik?
you
Yeah, how's your
golf at all?
golf
I
game?
don't. I have not tapped
Ah.
into the golf game yet. I
50
feel like
chips
that's
a
gonna-
night, bro. It'll change your
Chips
life.
a night. Get you right, man.
I'm gonna have to tap in at some point.
Yeah.
It's great.
These two preach golf on here often. I'm just here for the ride. I'm not a big golfer, so
Oh, yeah. There's a couple
I
Hawaii
definitely heard-
rounds in my future.
wow,
Hawaii-
Jared.
This guy's
Yeah.
crazy. He's flexing. It's time to wrap it up, Tommy. He's
Yeah.
flexing.
Yeah.
Now.
That's my honorable mention. Wait, hold on. I got my honorable mention.
Okay.
first.
Honorable mention.
Chaminade.
Lahaina Civic Center. No, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
Lahaina Civic Center, man. Shout out you guys. The Maui Invitational, amazing event. You guys
Oh,
are doing
that's a
great
good one.
things. They're doing Lahaina. It's like like a place for people to go and get help after the fires. So
That's
that's
big
why
time.
it's on Honolulu this year. But shout out Lahaina. It's a
That's
great
big
place
time.
to go watch
That's
a
a big
game.
pick.
Now,
Yeah.
now I'll wrap it up.
You were trying to
Nanik.
skip
Nanik.
Yeah,
bro.
I
This
know.
year it did.
And hey,
Nanik.
this is a Nanik. My fault.
No, you're
This is a top tier conversation, man. Like really, really appreciate you coming on. Listeners, go tap in with the True to Life podcast. Obviously, doing the right things over there. So, shout out one more time to CT for connecting us, of course.
Yes, sir.
So, appreciate you all. These are your favorite walk-ons. We're walking out.